Okay, and welcome back to the next video. Okay, so this one, once again, I'm going to get you to do a little bit of work here. Okay, here's what I want you to do. I want you to open up Packet Tracer, and we're going to build up a very, very simple network. I think probably 5 computers is enough, okay, and this one is going to be pretty simple because we're not going to bother with any routers, so that's the good news. All that we need is a bunch of computers and one switch to be able to hook everything together. So give me a second here and I will not cook up everything. I'll do that when I pause the video. But here's what I want you to do. Okay, I want you to come up and I want you to configure all of these computers to have, of course, different addresses, but we're going to pick the addresses that I want this time. Well, sort of. Okay, what I want you to do is I want you to use the network 199.2.3.x, and I want you to give all of these their own addresses. Okay, so here I'll put it over here. And here's what I want you to do. Create a small network with one switch and 5 PCs, 5 computers. Use the network 199.2.3. Something. Okay, now here's a hint. What class is this network? Okay, oops, that's gone off the edge. What class is this network? Now, take a second, pause the video, go and find out. I'll reveal the answer in 2 seconds. Okay, so of course 199.2.3. Well, let's take a look. 199, well, that happens to be a Class C network, so we know it's a 255, 255, 2550 network mask. Okay, so there's part of it. Okay, use the numbers point 10 through point 50. I don't care which numbers you pick, just use those numbers. So in other words, you can have this as being 19923 dot. This could be 34. Okay, that fits within my range. Don't step outside of these ranges quite yet. I'll let you mess around with these in a few minutes. Okay, so what I'll get you to do is I will get you to pause this video and finish this thing right now. Okay, so you probably saw me do a little bit of work in there at super high speed. I wish I could work that fast normally. But in any case, I've gone through and I've decided on these values, and with some luck, I actually did not make a mistake as I went through. And I hope that you've all gone through and you've already tried something, which of course is do the ping test to find out whether or not you can reach everything. Okay, so let me pop this open and let me try this. So first of all, 199.2.3.34. Can I ping myself? The answer is yes. Can I ping the next one? 21. No problem. Let's try 20. That's working. We'll try the 10. Okay, that's working. And of course the 15. Okay, good. And that's working. So for once, I ended up not making so many mistakes. Okay, so if you haven't done that, please stop this video and go and make sure that you can actually ping each of those machines, because if you can't, this next little part's not going to work. Okay, so I'll give you a second. Okay, so hopefully you've gone off and you've actually checked everything. All right, so now here comes some more interesting things. All right, so first of all, I've only got the 5 computers on this network, and that's quite clear. We've only got 5 computers. All right, now let's take a different number like 56. Okay, now make your prediction. Will I see any response from this? Okay, well, I certainly don't see any 56. Let's give it a quick try. And okay, well, that's kind of as expected because there isn't actually a device with 199.2.56. Okay, we just don't see it. Okay, now what I want you to do, however, is I want you to also try the following. Okay, so if we try some other numbers like 245, what do you think? I mean, of course, there's no 245. How about 250? Well, there's certainly not no 250. And we could try 251, we could try 252, 253 is not going to work, 254 is also not going to work, and I'll actually let this one go for a second just to show that it isn't working. Okay, good. So, well, you saw what I was doing. I was trying a bunch of numbers. What do you think about the number 255? Okay, now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, take a second and actually try this on your current network. Okay, so I'll give you a second to do this. Hey, pause the video, go off and try it, see if you get any type of response. I know what you're thinking is, well, that's certainly not going to work because I don't see any 255, but you might actually get a bit of a surprise. Okay, so if you've paused and you've come back, well, let me press enter and see what ends up happening. Okay, oh, that's kind of strange, isn't it? Now I'm just going to stop it after one ping, but take a look at what's happened. I have actually gotten a reply, but not only did I get a reply, I actually ended up getting 4 different replies, and that's a bit unusual. Okay, so what on earth did we get replies from? Well, take a look. I got replies from 3.21, 20, 10, and 15. Now remember, I did this from PC 0, and take a look at all the other values. There are 4 other computers besides myself. They are 21, 20, 10, and 15. Okay, so that's kind of strange. So by pinging something .255, it seems like I'm getting back answers to absolutely everything that's on this entire network. Okay, so, well, what I'm going to do is, sorry, I need to pause this video in order to get ready for the next thing. Okay, but you won't really notice, but I'll be right back in a couple of seconds. Okay, and I'm back. Sorry, I've discovered now I have to take these occasional short 2 or 3 minute breaks, otherwise things just end up going very bad for me, and it makes the video files really long. Okay, so time for a little bit of an explanation about this particular ping with the 255 and why did I end up with all these numbers coming back, which seem to be absolutely everything. Okay, here's what we're going to do. Let me open up this notepad because this will be a very useful place for me to describe these things. Okay, the first thing I want to do is I want to point out this particular IP address. Okay, 199.2.32. Let's see, the first number that I picked up was number 34. Okay, and we know already that this was the net mask 255.255.255.0, and I'm just going to reformat this thing just a little tiny bit, just so we can actually see the numbers. Okay, so here we go. All right, so all the same stuff. I'm just reformatting things a little bit. Okay, so of course, this 255, 255, 255 happens to refer to the 199, 2, and 32, and this 0 part right here happens to refer to this number. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I want to rewrite these numbers in binary form. Okay, so first of all, the address. Okay, so the address is 199.2.32.34, and here's what I'm going to do is let me use my Windows calculator just so I don't have any mess ups as we go. So this is being put into programmer mode, and all that I do is I type the number here and I can read the bit pattern off right here. So here's the first thing. So this is 11000111 point. Okay, 2, I can manage this one by hand, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and 32. Well, we should be able to manage this by hand as well, but here I don't need to be typing down the wrong thing with the wrong number of zeros. Okay, and of course 34 should be almost the same thing, 00100010. Okay. All right, and let's also verify while we're here just to make sure that we've actually got the right thing. All right, so that happens to be the address. Now, the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the mask underneath it, so the subnet mask. So 255 happens to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ones, and finally 0000. Okay, so these are the things. Okay, so now what this means, this is the network mask. In other words, the network happens to be only the first 3 octets. This last octet is something a little bit different. Okay, well, since we're here, let's put it as a slightly different slightly different way of describing it. I'm going to put the letter N underneath here, and here, and here, and I'm going to put the letter H right here. So what do these things mean? Okay, well, the letter N refers to the network, and the letter H refers to the host within that network. See, this is not that much different than, say, when we were dealing with memory when we had pages and offsets. It's about the same concept. So we have host number 34 within the network 199.2.32. Okay, so that's all that this thing means. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to take a look at simply the host values. Okay, so the host values. Well, if you think about this, the host value is how many bits? Okay, well, it turns out that there's 8 bits. Okay, well, there are 8 binary values, or 8-bit values, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That happens to be a number, and so is that. Okay, but here's another 8-bit number, here's another 8-bit number. And here's another 8-bit number. Now, I'm obviously not going to go through all of them, but let's carry on so we're close to the end. Okay, now what do I mean by close to the end? Well, that's a number, and here's a number, here's another number, and finally here's another number, and well, what about the one that comes after? Well, that wouldn't fit 8 bits. So here's what I want to do is I want to convert these things now into decimals so we get an idea what these things look like. Okay, well, this one's pretty easy. That's just a 0. All right, this one right here, well, that's just a number 1. This is the number 2. This is the number 3. This is the number 4. And so on, and all the way up here to the end. Well, let's work our way backwards because that's an easy one. That's 255. The number just before it will be 254. The number before that will be 253. And the number before that will be 252. Okay, and of course we got all these other values in between. So this looks like valid addresses on our network would start at 199.2.32.0, kind of looks like a possibility. 199.2.32.1 looks like a possibility. 199.2.32.2, and so on. 199.2.252. Sorry, 32.252, 199.2.32.253, 199.2.32.254, okay, and finally 199.2.32.255. Okay, so all of these things look like they're valid. Okay, within the 199.2.32 network. So those are all of the host names. Now, the thing is that some of these things are simply not allowed. Okay, so first of all, what do you think? The number 1? Well, I'm sure that we've used the value 1 before. Let me go in here and actually try changing this value to 1. Yeah, there seems to be no problem using 1. Have you ever tried 0? Okay, well, yeah, it actually doesn't like 0 at all. Okay, how about 199.2.3.252? Okay, that seems to be no problem. 53 is no problem. 254 is no problem. What about 255? Well, this also seems to be a problem. Okay, so what's happening here? So it looks like this one is, I'm going to say, not allowed. Okay, I'm going to explain why in a second. And it looks like this one is also not allowed. And all of the other values here in the middle seem to be okay. So 1 all the way through to here seem to be no problem. Okay, but what about these other ones? Okay, well, the first thing I'm going to talk about is how many OKs, how many OK addresses. Okay, so how many OK addresses do we have? Well, guess what? Number 1 is OK, number 2 is OK, 3 is OK, 4 is OK. If you count all of these things up from 1 up to 254, well, it turns out there's 254 of them. Okay, so in other words, your network, as we have it right now, the 199.2.32, it can have a total of 254 computers attached to it. What if you need 256? Well, you can't do it with this type of a network, okay? Because those other two are simply not allowed. All right, so what do you mean not allowed? Okay, let's not just say not allowed, but let's actually give it a name. What this is called the broadcast address. Okay, and what makes it the broadcast address? Think about the binary form. Notice that it's got all ones. So when the host name is all ones, you get something called a broadcast. And what these are packets that get sent out to absolutely everybody on the network. Okay, this one right here, well, I think you recognize this address because I got you to fill it out into a table. Okay, take a look over here. I actually filled this one out before. Okay, it was a slightly different number. Okay, so this 195 dot, oh, sorry, the two, well, I guess we didn't use this one, but this number 200.3.2145, I actually wrote this down as the network name, and that's exactly what this is. Okay, so it's not allowed, it's the name of the network. Okay, now, a very strange thing. Here, let's put this value back for a second, just one final ping, and then I'm going to take a break again to 334, so everything is back. And once again, we'll try pinging everything, and notice I get back a result from everybody. What do you think I get back if I try pinging the dot zero? Okay, well, strangely enough, this also returns back everything on the network. I don't particularly agree with this particular thing working. I certainly am happy that this 255 works, but this seems a little bit weird. It's just something that they've put in the packet tracer. In fact, this entire thing is just packet tracer magic. Okay, for example, if you open up your command prompt here, let me hit CLS to clear the screen, and if you type the command ipconfig, you'll see your configuration of your machine. Now you'll notice mine is very, very complex because I've got a lot of things on my computer. I've got something called VirtualBox, and it adds a bunch of things. But here's my actual IP address. It's 192.168.1.198. Okay, so I can ping other things, like I know I've got 192.168.1.1, and yes, that works. And of course, I can ping myself, but if I try pinging 255 on a real Windows computer, absolutely nothing comes back. That's because the ping function actually doesn't work this way. This pinging that's happening in Cisco Packet Tracer, that is simply for our convenience. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this video right now, but what I want you to do is I want you to submit. So let me pop open this again, and I will clear all of this stuff, and I will say submit a screenshot showing pings to 199.2.32.255. Now, is that the right addresses I gave? As long as those are the right ones. Okay, yes. Okay, so submit showing the pings to this, and that all computers are responding. Okay, so that's going to be a second submission that you have to give me for today's video. Okay, all right, so I'm going to stop while I set up a couple of more things, and then I will be back to do another explanation of some Class C stuff. Then we're going to talk about some Class B networks, but we probably won't go to Class A because that just gets a little out of hand. Okay, so see you in the next video.